people. I wanted to talk with you guys for a moment, and I believe this is going to help someone. I wanted to talk about distractions and confusion. And so, a lot of times, when you're dealing with a person that's goal driven and they're purpose driven, and they're at a place in their conscious mind to where they want to better assist themselves and develop, but yet they are distracted by the issues of life. Why is that so relevant? And what people have to understand, distractions are created for warning signs. And let me explain that for a moment. Usually when someone make up in their mind, because it first started in our mind to make it proactive within our physical abilities, right? So here you are, have set the goals, start being proactive, and then next thing you know, life just start happening. Things just start occurring. I want you to understand that when you are purpose driven and when you have set yourself some goals and you're starting to somewhat get a momentum, next thing you know, everything just start happening. It is an indicator that you are on the right track. And so typically a lot of times people don't know how to recover from distractions. So they start prolonging their purpose. They start they start becoming more focused on the distraction and not the purpose. Am I making sense? And then they start doubting themselves, and then unbelief start creeping in. And then next thing you know, the devil start playing with somewhat of a leverage, because the darkness, because the focus of the enemy Satan is to what? Kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to destroy our purpose in life. So what we have to realize and recognize, when the distractions are coming, we need to understand that it is an indicator that we are on the right track. But sometimes, like I stated, some people can't recover because they get in the thick of their distractions. Are you guys following me? So, what typically goes on when a person is being distracted, they take away from their purpose, they focus on what is at hand instead of saying, you know what, there's a reason why I am being distracted. I need to lock back in. I need to focus. I need to get to a place to where I don't allow these distractions to define who I am. Are you following me, my people? Are you listening, my people? And so I want, when you look at your life, I want you to not doubt yourself. I don't want you to allow unbelief to just sit there. I want you to challenge, I want you to challenge unbelief and tell yourself, say, you know what? I've already written it down. I've already made the vision plain. I've already started focusing on the bigger picture. Now, I don't need to doubt myself right now, because if I start doubting myself, I start having a low vibration. And I don't want the low vibration. I don't want to take away from what I have been working my whole entire life. I don't want to take away from that. I want to focus on how I can develop and become. But yet, I want to say this. Some people can't recover because the task of the distraction is so heavy. And so unbelief kicks in. And then next thing you know, confusion start taking place. And then next thing you know, the distractions is now controlling you. And so I want to encourage you. Understand, when you are distracted, it is an indicator that you're on the right track. Don't allow yourself to step into the spirit of confusion, because the Lord Jesus Christ is not the author of confusion. The Lord Jesus Christ is a God of a sound mind. I want somebody to say sound mind. I want somebody to know that even though I've been not focused and I've been distracted, I can still fulfill what the Lord has given me. I want people to understand that if I'm going to fulfill what I've been created to do in this world, in this lifetime, I can't allow my family, I can't allow friends, I can't allow situations, I can't allow issues of life to control me. I have to now walk in authority. I have to now understand that, you know what? These distractions are here for a reason. And I'm not gonna give in to my distractions. I'm going to look my distractions in its face, and I'm going to tell my distractions, I will fulfill what the Lord has put in my heart, and I will accomplish everything that the Lord has shown me. I will listen to the voice of the Lord. I will allow the voice of the Lord to be my admonition. I'm going to tell myself that I'm going to speak to myself. I'm going to speak life back into my soul. I want you to know that, my people. I don't want you to focus on the distraction. I don't want you to focus on you missing the mark. I don't want you focusing on things that was somewhat out of your control. I want you to learn how to pick up that distraction and use it as a momentum. I want when you look at your life, I want when you look at your life, I want you to understand that it's going to all work itself out. And so my focus should be learning from my distractions and allow my distractions to now work for me. And then once I'm able to build a momentum and a shifting, now I can move and see myself the way Christ sees me. I hope I'm talking to someone. I want you to know that distractions is beneficial for our lives. And the reason why we have to look at it as it being beneficial because we can change the atmosphere by not immersing ourselves into allowing it to control us. We can actually look at our distractions and say, nope, this is not going to happen. I recognize that you are visiting me, distraction, but now I'm not going to immerse myself into your mindset. I'm now going to allow my mind to be one with Christ. I'm not going to allow my mind to really just have its way. I'm going to let my mind be one with Christ. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Any questions, my people? We're talking about distractions. Let me read. Let me stop and read real quick. Let me see. Any questions? I think it went up. If we have any questions, let me hear. Any questions? Muslims and Jews, kids upon. Any questions? Let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to read what someone is saying. I want you to put it back in the comment if you don't mind the question, if you don't mind. The question. Let me hear. What's your question? Can you repeat the question? Because it's going up in this messages on here. I want you to repeat the question. What happens to Muslims and Jews, kids upon? I don't want to. I don't. We can have that conversation, but just not tonight. We're talking about distractions and confusion. We can answer that question some not tonight, and maybe we can actually talk about that sometime this week. But I want to focus on tonight about distractions and confusion. Any other question regarding what we're talking about tonight? Any other questions? Any other questions tonight? Any other questions tonight? I appreciate the feedback. I wanted to hop on tonight and I wanted to encourage you guys. I wanted to speak life into your mind, into your consciousness. I wanted to be a blessing to you guys tonight. And I pray that I have been. And any other questions regarding distractions and confusion? I want to say this before I get out of here. Sometimes in our journey, in our quest in life, when distractions start appearing, it's because we're so close to the next level in our lives. And so what happens is the enemy recognizes, he can sense it. He don't know our future, but he can sense that the Lord is about to do something and shift something around. And next thing you know, there's a floodgate that is about to occur. And so you have to be able to be aware of the signs. And you have to be able to know and to understand that this distraction is for a purpose. So when you see distractions, sometimes you got to understand that you're so close to going to this next level, or because you've made up in your mind maybe something that you have been struggling with and you decided to give it to the Lord, and now you have a new consciousness, a new mindset. And so once you come into that type of mind, now you're at a place to where you have to recognize, you have to have a sensitivity to know that, okay, this is what's going to go on. I now am preparing my conscious mind. I'm now going to not focus on what is going on around me and keep the main thing the main thing. And sometimes that's really hard to do when life is just life, and right? And so I want, when you guys have these distractions in life, I want you to not run away. I want you to pay more attention. And what I mean by pay more attention, I want you to focus on looking at the indicators that there's something great that's in the atmosphere. I need you to understand that there's something great that is in the atmosphere. That's what I want you to recognize. That's what I want you to realize. And so when you can recognize that there is something that is going on in the atmosphere, that can be your leverage. That can be your ammunition. That can be a strength. That can be a blessing to your mind, because on your journey of life, you're going to have many distractions. And like I stated earlier, some people don't recover from distractions because the distractions have consumed them. And I don't want distractions consuming you, because just know if it's coming, there has to be a blessing, and there has to be a next level consciousness that is right there in the atmosphere. And what you have to do, sometimes you have to have dominion over the distractions. And the way you have dominion over the distractions is keeping the course and staying focused. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And so I want, when life is happening, hear me, hear me. I want, when life is happening, we don't want to run away. We want to look at it and be able to evaluate it and be able to make the necessary adjustments. And that's what has helped me over the years, is that when I see distractions and I see things that are just starting to happen, I just start really asking myself, like, okay, I need to do this. Because I tell you what, distractions can be a time waster. And so I've learned how to navigate through life, even though things are just taking place. I'm going to get out of here tonight, guys. I just wanted to drop faith in you tonight. And I feel like this is going to help somebody. Please comment, share, and like. Please share this content. I would appreciate it. I thank you guys for tuning in. Any last questions before I get out of here? Any last questions before I get out of here? I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Any last questions regarding distractions and confusion? Any last questions before we get out of here tonight? I'll be back on tomorrow, and let's tune in, and we'll hear what the Lord has to say to us. Any last minute questions regarding distractions and confusion? Distractions and confusion. Anybody have a question? Anyone has a question? Can you hear me? If you can hear me in the chat, I want you to put in 1. If you can hear me in the chat, press 1 for me. If you hear me in the chat, press 1 for me. If you can hear me in the chat, press 1 for me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the feedback. And I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for tuning in. If not, I'm going to get out, and we should finish this conversation tomorrow. All right, my people, I'm going to get out of here tonight. I appreciate you tuning in, and I pray that you have a blessed night tonight. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Blessings.